Every great piece of art begins with a vision, one person's unique perspective on the world around them. All it takes is one brief moment of clarity to lead an artist to create their masterpiece. Da Vinci's The Mona Lisa, Beethoven's Ode to Joy, Walt Disney's Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and dare I say it, Tommy Wiseau's The Room. A bizarre stranger emerges from no discernible background, shows up in LA with a dream, and somehow makes it happen. It's the American dream at work, and more than a few people thought it would make a pretty good movie in itself. That movie was The Disaster Artist. I'm Connor Eyzaguirre.
I'm Colton Jenkins.
And this is Filmgazm. Welcome to the Filmgazm podcast. Our brief foray into movies about movies, REELGAZM, continues with a biopic of one of the most intriguing and hard to believe true stories ever to emerge from Hollywood, The Disaster Artist. The story of the friendship that blossomed between aspiring actor Greg Sestero and human enigma Tommy Wiseau that resulted in one of the most laughably bad cult classics of all time, The Room. So prior to seeing The Disaster Artist, how much did you know about Tommy Wiseau and The Room and this cult phenomena?
So I just remember like scrolling through YouTube late at night when I should be going to bed because I had school the next day. And one of my favorite YouTubers started talking about the movie. He was like, if you haven't seen it, you have to see it. And then I was like, oh, I wonder what this is. So I looked up I looked up the movie to see if I could watch it anywhere, and I couldn't find it, but I kept getting all the clips from the movie, all the classic clips, doing, I did not hit her. I did not. Or you're tearing me apart, all this stuff. And I thought, oh, that's funny. And I put it away. And then again, just like I say in every episode, one day my fucking dad comes home and he's like, Colton, have you heard about this movie called The Room? And I'm like, yes, of course. And we watched it and it was fucking hilarious. And then we went to go see a movie. Don't remember what it was, a couple years later. And we saw the trailer for The Disaster Artist and we had to see it. So
That's awesome. I love that. It is this movie that you only find out about from someone else who has seen it. It's it's the ultimate word of mouth movie. This weird 2003 drama, I guess, depending on who's talking about it. I remember finding out about this completely by accident. I used to watch on YouTube. There's this comedy troupe called Riff Tracks, which are kind of the second phase of the original Mystery Science Theater 3000 crew, or not the original, but the second group. When they left that show, formed Riff Tracks, which did the same thing that Mystery Science Theater did, but with good movies, which really doesn't work.
That's weird.
You can't have three guys mocking The Lord of the Rings because that movie does not deserve to be mocked. It only works if the movie deserves to be mocked. But I would watch best of videos of these guys mocking movies I knew, and there was this one movie that kept popping up in the rotation that I did not know what the hell this was. It was a guy with long black hair, horribly acting his way through something. And I just left it there. And then years later, I started the original podcast way back before I knew any of y'all with somebody I've yet to name on the show because frankly she doesn't deserve it. She was my original partner and we did a series of shows just completely random, no real structure to it. All of them under half an hour. I didn't know what I was doing. It took me a while to figure out what I was doing. And we had a series called Bad Movie Night. And we would do the worst movies of all time. And we decided to do The Room. And that's when I'm like, oh shit, that's the guy with the black hair from the Riff Tracks thing. And we watched it and we were like, what in the hell is this? This is the weirdest thing. It's funny, but I don't think it's supposed to be. And yeah, it's been about 5 years since I watched The Room, and I haven't forgotten a second of it because it's the kind of movie that stays with you because you're like, how?
Yeah.
How did this happen?
I don't want to forget it.
Yeah.
It also seems like it kind of, I don't want to say birthed a genre of movies, but it kind of did. Like there are movies now being made that are on purpose so bad that they're funny and good. Like, have you heard of the movie Velocipaster?
Yes, I have heard of that.
I don't know if you've seen it, but there's like a scene right at the beginning where he sees it. For those who don't know, the Velocipaster is a movie about exactly what it sounds like. It is a pastor who gains the supernatural ability to transform into a raptor or a velociraptor. It's awful on purpose, but at the very beginning of the movie, he sees his parents blow up in a car. Their car explodes, but the thing is you don't see the car explode. Instead, what you see a shot of his parents at the car, which I'm pretty sure is stock footage of a normal family in front of a car. And then instead of seeing the car blow up, you just hear the audio and the screen goes black with text that says input car explosion here. It's hilarious. It's a wonderful movie if you haven't seen it. And I don't think movies like that would have been made if it hadn't been for The Room.
I agree. The Room, it might not have started a movement or an avant-garde thing in Hollywood, but what it did do was it inspired so many people to just soldier ahead with whatever their idea was. Because if Tommy Wiseau can pull this out of his ass and become a cultural phenomenon, why can't the guy who comes up with the idea of a priest turning into a dinosaur? Why can't he have one too? It really has given everybody this idea of like, I can make something if I truly do believe in it, and that's good. That's good.
It's inspiring. It's Chef Cousteau's, but like with movies. Anyone can make a movie. Yeah. Yeah, it's inspiring. I mean, I've always wanted to make a movie. I'm thinking about going to film school, and this movie is really inspirational. It's also an interesting look on film, I think, because it shows not necessarily The Room, but what The Room has done for film. You said it hasn't started a movement. It hasn't, but I think it shows people that film can be fun. It's just another form of art and expression. If you want to make a goofy movie about a priest that turns into a raptor, go ahead and do it. If you want to make a Russian Avengers movie, go ahead and do it. Just have fun with it. Which I don't remember what it's called, but if you haven't seen the Russian Avengers movie, you need to. It is phenomenal.
I've seen the poster and thought, no chance in hell.
It's good. It's not good. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So bad it's good. That's a special zone that few movies are able to do, but
yeah,
we all kind of recognize it when we're watching.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The Room is 100% one of those movies.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So, my question to you, the creator of this iconic tome, Tommy Wiseau. No one really knows anything about this guy. He keeps everything really close to the chest and has worked hard, I think, to kind of erase his past from the limelight, but also he wants to be a movie star. It's a weird combo.
Yeah.
So let's speculate for a bit. My question, who the hell do you think this guy is?
So I have a theory. I have a couple, but I'm sure everyone does. One of the theories, I agreed with you. I'll let you say that one. The one that I think about sometimes is he was in a car accident. So I think maybe he had like a facial transplant, and I don't know, maybe he just wanted to restart his life. I think I saw somewhere that he's Polish.
Yeah, we'll talk a bit about that in a bit. I have like his quote unquote real name. Yeah.
It's not Tommy Wiseau?
No, it's not Tommy Wiseau.
So I think he's just a guy who wanted to start a new life maybe after that accident. I mean, shit, maybe he really is younger. He's definitely not like in his 20s like he says he is in the movies, but maybe he is younger. He just, he had to go through a lot of surgery after that accident. We don't know how bad that accident was, but the way that he doesn't if the disaster artist is true, the way that he kind of doesn't want to talk about that, it could have been pretty traumatic. Either that or he just really wants to be the cool, stereotypical, mysterious Hollywood actor. Or, like your theory, he's probably a fucking mobster who got away.
That's what I think's going on here. Because for me, it's not so much about like we don't know who he is. I mean, most people we don't know who the hell they are. At first glance, you got to do some hunting for some people. I want to know where this bottomless pit of money comes from.
Yeah, so he says it's from real estate in San Francisco, but there is no where. From where?
No, I think that he is either. I think you might be onto something with the car accident and facial reconstruction, and it could be, that money came from maybe a settlement, possibly
Maybe,
some like $100 million settlement or something. I think he's a prominent Eastern European gangster who had facial reconstruction surgery to change his identity and has been living off of ill-gotten funds for quite some time, but he also really wants to be a movie star.
But maybe the accident was a lie.
Yeah, but he's okay with that because no one can recognize him. I don't know.
That's interesting. The accident was a lie just to cover up for him to get facial reconstruction surgery.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. He's not in his 20s, and he sure as shit is not from New Orleans. So I think he's got no problem lying about who he is.
That's pretty funny.
I'm fascinated by this guy because you don't get this famous without like knowing a bit about the person. It's weird. And everyone's just kind of okay with like no one has ever really questioned where he came up with $6 million for a movie. If we wanted to make a movie, we would not be able to come up with $6 million in like a couple weeks.
Yeah, no. And the fact that he's okay with not throwing away, it was his dream, him spending that much money that quickly on a movie and him still having an exuberant amount of money.
Yeah, that and like
really is
he just happens to have an apartment in LA. You know how much that costs?
Yeah.
Like,
yep.
Yeah.
None of it makes sense. He's a suspicious guy. What if he actually is a time traveler?
Then he should have made a better movie.
He should have made a better movie. I was thinking, I wasn't thinking, but what he says that he realized he wanted to be a movie star after that accident that he had.
Mm-hmm.
What if he just has that money from a settlement and the car that he got in a crash with was like, I don't know, a Warner Brothers truck or something. And he was like, yeah, this is my destiny.
I have another theory. Have you ever heard the name Tony Clifton?
No.
So this is fucking wild. And this really happened. So in the 80s, Andy Kaufman, noted comedian, crazy dude, did anything for a laugh. That movie Man on the Moon starring Jim Carrey was made about this guy. Andy Kaufman, whenever he would sign a contract, would also say like, but my friend Tony Clifton has to do a show too. And then Tony Clifton was this like abrasive, weird, angry lounge singer dude who would like start fights with the crowd and just be obnoxious. And it was later revealed that Andy Kaufman was Tony Clifton.
What?
It was all part of an ongoing joke for himself. He would dress up as Tony Clifton and then play Tony Clifton. And I think something similar is going on with Tommy Wiseau. I think that a prominent comedian or an actor or somebody is playing Tommy Wiseau.
That's interesting. Who do you think, if you had to guess?
Johnny Depp. You know why? Tommy Wiseau's first choice to play him in a movie was Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp and James Franco, which is fucking funny.
Yeah. I know it's not Franco because I see what he looks like as Tommy Wiseau, and I can very much see that that's James Franco. So, but I think that would be fascinating if, like, maybe it's some TV actor who's claiming, oh, you think I'm not good enough to get off this soap opera? I'll show you what real acting is all about. And he's been playing Tommy Wiseau. I don't know. Wouldn't that be fucking crazy if like Tommy Wiseau was found like, paparazzi got a shot of him like taking off his costume and it's like, fucking Fred Savage or something.
Oh my God. That's funny. That's interesting. I haven't thought about that. But to do that for years and years, it's a long time.
Well, only in the occasional spotlight. It's not like Tommy Wiseau is on the fucking Tonight Show all the time. Like we
That's
don't
fair.
see this guy very often.
That
And
is true. Yeah.
and all his photos are like weirdly out of focus, and he's got sunglasses on, and like it's like he's hiding something. He kind of looks like Ian McShane in the right light.
He kind of does. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think this is the last we've seen of this guy. I know he's working on some shark movie right now that like
Big shark.
Big Shark. Yeah, very creative.
No, you don't understand. He's the big shark. Sorry, I can't.
I I want to see Big Shark so bad. We're gonna do a whole fucking podcast about Big Shark if it ever comes out.
Oh my God, of course.
But yeah, then he'll try to do something with that. We'll see him at like a red carpet or something, and I hope somebody gets some good pictures because I want to analyze those.
Oh my God.
Yeah, insane. Okay, so before we get into the disaster artist, let's talk a little bit more about The Room.
Hmm.
The Room was written and directed and starred Tommy Wiseau, born Tomasz Wierzchowicz.
Oh.
He's Polish, allegedly.
Unless that's a lie too. We don't know at this point.
Yeah. Many details about his personal life and place of origin are up for debate. Its budget was $6 million, and that was personally supplied by Wiseau. To date, nobody knows where that money came from. He won't tell anybody. But that was a drop in the ocean, apparently. So,
oh my God,
he's rolling in it. The Room initially tanked, obviously, with only 4.9 million box office and a limited California theatrical release, but that's pretty amazing. 4.9 million box office on 6 million budget for a movie that was completely independently financed by one guy. Over the years, The Room became a cult classic, plays to sold out theaters across the world to audiences who love its off-kilter storytelling, horrible CGI backgrounds, ridiculous dialogue, and over-the-top characters.
He used a CGI background for Los Angeles while filming it in Los Angeles.
Well, it's a real Hollywood movie.
It's a real Hollywood movie.
You imagine being on the set of this thing and having to wrangle this guy's like psychosis every day? My God. One of my favorite details in the movie was how it would say like day 20 of 40, and then it would say like day 58 of 40.
Yep. Yeah.
Production got way out of control. I thought this was really cool. There is a remake in the works titled The Room Returns. It was slated for a spring 2023 release, but it never happened. It stars Bob Odenkirk, Bella Heathcote, Kate Siegel, Mike Flanagan, and Greg Sestero. All the profits were going to go to AIDS research. And they insisted this is not a mockery. They're going to remake it as a straight drama and try to capture the original vision of what this was.
How does Tommy Wiseau feel about it?
I mean, I don't know. He had to have given the green light. I think.
I guess,
pretty sure he has the rights to this. Greg Sestero's involved. He plays the crazy mugger guy this time.
That's funny. That's really funny. I wanted to know like if they're still friends, and they are. They have made every movie, every single one of Tommy Wiseau's movie. He has a couple. Greg has been in. They have a movie actually called Best Friends that is split in 2 volumes. And it's about, I don't remember what it's about. I think one of them steals money from the other one, but whatever.
I imagine these days there's a lot of famous actors who want to work with Tommy Wiseau.
I'm sure, yeah.
Like for free, probably. Like the movie opens with like real celebrities giving their like testimony about The Room.
Yeah.
Cool.
I have my own theory about the plot.
Okay.
Is where he got the idea from the movie. Obviously, like, I don't want to say that he's an idiot, but I think he's smarter than he lets on, because the plot of the movie is just literally his journey to LA. Like, the woman that Greg steals from him is the dreams of being an actor and LA loving him. And Greg is obviously, Mark is obviously just Greg taking the woman LA and being an actor from him. That's where he comes up with it.
Damn. I
Yeah.
I think personally, I think you're giving him a little too much credit.
I definitely am, but like I'm watching the Disaster Artist, and I'm like, this is literally just what's happening to him right now.
It could be. It could be. I think it's similar to a situation he went through, but he was Mark,
Interesting.
and he feels guilty that he drove Johnny to suicide.
Yikes.
Maybe. I don't know. I I have no one will ever fucking know if this came from anything. But it could just be completely like, I want to make an American drama, and this was the best he could do.
Make sure there's breast cancer in there.
Yeah. What was that?
I love when the lady's like, Jimmy, does this come back? And he's like, no, it twist. She's like, yeah, but it doesn't come back. And he's like, I don't have time to talk about script.
It twist. I love that. Oh, yeah, it's so weird. The movie just like, yep, I got breast cancer, and then we never see her again.
Yeah, nope.
This is crazy. Okay, so that's The Room. I watched it on a DVD I rented through Netflix back when they were still doing that. It's not streaming anywhere. There is apparently a clean version on YouTube you can watch that I imagine loses the ass. And I don't want to watch this movie if I don't get to see Tommy Wiseau's big white ass. So I think I speak for everybody on that.
Yeah, it's a real American movie.
Yeah. I wonder if this has gotten like, this year's the 20th anniversary of The Room. We could have done this as part of our anniversary slate. And I'm kind of regretting not doing that now.
Oh, man.
Like, I can talk about Kill Bill all the time, but The Room, that would have been special.
Oh, dude.
But I'm wondering, like, can you get this on Blu-ray?
I don't know. I don't remember how me and my dad watched it a long time. I think we found it online on one of those sketchy websites, but
all right, yeah, I'm going to Amazon right now. The Room Blu-ray. Let's see if we can get it. Yes, we can. $33.
Absolutely. That's a steal.
Shit. You know what? This is going on my Christmas list. I got to tell my family, like, hey, don't ask why, but I want this for Christmas.
I want the entire Tommy Wiseau log of movies.
Oh my God. The Tommy Wiseau Real American Movie Collection. The Room to Big Shark. Yeah.
My God. Tommy, you've been nominated for Criterion. I don't want Criterion. I want American Collection.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Jeez, I can see this somehow sneaking in there. I can see that happening in like 50 years when they've run out of good movies to put in the Criterion Collection.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Who is Denny?
I don't know.
See, that's why, like, again, that's just another, like, that's part of his life because Tommy is friends with Lil Kid because the beginning of the Disaster Artist, when he pulls up to meet Greg, he's like, "Are you friends, little kids?"
Yeah, but is Denny a little kid or like,
yeah,
like 18? Like, nobody fucking knows.
After the mugger guy mugs him, whatever the fuck that scene was, when Tommy Wiseau goes to pick him up, he's like, "It's okay, little boy, you're okay." Which I forgot Zac Efron and Josh Hutcherson were in this movie.
I love when they're in the theater and he's just like, "Is it me or is this sort of bad?"
He's like, "No,
it's not you."
Yeah,
fucking great. Okay, so The Disaster Artist is based on the memoir of the same name by Greg Sestero and Tom Bissell that was first published in 2013. Greg Sestero decided that people have to know and told his story about making The Room. Seth Rogen's production company Point Grey Pictures acquired the rights to the book in 2014. James Franco was set to direct and star as Wiseau, and he cast his brother Dave Franco as Greg Sestero. Franco described the film as a combination of Boogie Nights and The Master. Yeah, I can see that.
I have not seen Boogie Nights, but I do plan on watching it in the future.
It's great.
Um, John C. Riley, again, I think we were talking about this like not when we were recording, but I just watched Gangs of New York and John C. Riley in serious roles. Granted, I don't know how serious Boogie Nights is,
Very.
but yeah, seeing him in a serious role is fucking weird. Sorry, I know that's off topic, but it's weird. Every time I see him, I just think curly headed fuck.
Well, I mean, Boogie Nights, I didn't know what to expect with it. I thought it was a comedy when I first watched it because, it's like, oh, Mark Wahlberg's a porn star. This will be hilarious. It is not a comedy. It's a
No.
vicious drama about a fucked up way of life.
Mm.
I watched it when I first watched it. I was like, what? Heather Graham's a porn star? I will watch. Yeah, give me that movie now. And then I was like, this is really good. And also, she's really hot. So I won twice here.
That's great.
Tommy Wiseau had hoped that Johnny Depp would play him in a movie. His other choice was James Franco. So, he got what he wanted. Now,
Well, Johnny Depp couldn't play him because he's already Johnny Depp.
yeah, that would have been difficult, wouldn't it? Or would it have not been? Would he have been like Johnny Depp playing Tommy Wiseau, playing Johnny Depp playing Tommy Wiseau?
It's like, damn, Johnny, you're so good at playing Tommy Wiseau. Like, almost like indistinguishable. And it's like, thank you. Thank you.
I feel like I want to get to the bottom of this.
Who is he?
Okay. So let's talk about James Franco.
Okay.
We haven't seen him in a while.
We haven't seen him in a while because he's a fucking asshole.
He's an asshole. He's a perv and quite possibly a rapist. So let's get into his allegations. James Franco was one of the early victims, quote unquote, of the Me Too movement. And here's why. So in 2014, a 17-year-old girl posted screenshots of alleged messages between her and Franco on Instagram. The messages showed that Franco, at the time he was 35, tried to meet her in a hotel room after she told him she was 17.
Oh, God.
He sent multiple pictures of himself to prove his real identity. Like, we can't just get pictures. I can get you pictures of James Franco right now. But anyway, he admitted on Live with Kelly and Michael that he had written the messages, though his actions were legal as the age of consent in New York is 17.
Oh, my God, dude.
I didn't know that. I thought it was 18 everywhere in this country. Apparently not.
Okay. So my thing with like the whole age of consent thing, I don't care if it's legal where you are. It's still fucking creepy. If you have to say no, in this state it's legal. The fact that you had to like look it up, man.
Yeah.
Like, dude, come on.
If you have to argue that, if the next thing after you say I just met this girl is, but don't worry, the age of consent here is 17, then that's fucked up. You don't that already like no.
Yeah.
Once somebody's 18, no. I do not fucking care what you do at all. I don't care. 18, fucking an 85-year-old, not my business. I don't give a shit. As long as both parties are consenting, assalamu alaikum, do whatever you want. But anyway, Franco's like, he got some backlash because of the age gap, but nobody could do anything legal because he was trying to fuck in New York. He initially responded to the scandal by tweeting, quote, all caps, I hope parents keep their teens away from me. Thank you.
Oh my God, dude. The fact that I used to I used to be a huge James Franco fan.
Me too.
Have you seen The Deuce?
I have not.
Wonderful. It was filmed where I was living in New York City. Anyway, yeah, I almost met him, and now I'm glad I did. I hate learning that one of the people you really like are shitbags.
Me too. Yeah, back when all this started, when all this first was coming out, I remember defending Kevin Spacey. Like when all that came out, I was like, "There's no way. There's no way that's true. He wouldn't do that." And then it was more and more and more and more, and I was like, "Fuck, Kev, what the hell?" I was a big Kevin Spacey fan.
Yeah.
And then, oh my God, yeah. So you got to be careful of that. when it first comes out, because then people get pissed at you because you were
Yeah.
defending a monster, which isn't fair. You didn't know. You weren't trapping children in the basement with him. You don't know. Anyway. Yeah.
Wasn't his defense like, "Oh, I'm gay"?
Yeah, when it first happened, he's like, that was how he tried to get away from it. He's like, well, I am a gay man. And he came out hoping that would deflect, and it did not deflect.
Yeah, and he was like, "Oh, I'm addicted to sex," and people are like, "Okay, there are older people."
Well, and then like a lot of his accusers, like 3 or 4 of his accusers died, like
Oh
in
Jesus!
accidents or suicides, that's weird.
Yeah, that's what.
And then he kept posting videos as Frank Underwood from House of Cards, basically saying like, America's not done with me. I'm on the verge of a comeback. And I'm thinking like, you have
Oh my
lost your
God,
fucking marbles.
he is insane.
You think you're Frank Underwood and you are killing people.
What was his last movie, Baby Driver? Because that's I think the last thing I've seen him in.
He did a movie. This is unfortunately titled, but his final project officially was Billionaire Boys Club,
Oh my God!
which kind of flew very under the radar in 2018 when all this was going down. And then he hasn't done anything mainstream since. He's slated to do something with Franco Nero, but last I heard about that it might not happen. It was fucking up Nero's marriage. His wife, Vanessa Redgrave, I believe, was like, don't work with that sick fuck. And Franco's like, I'm going to work with a sick fuck. It's my movie. But yeah, here we are. I haven't looked into that lately.
Oh
But I know no one's working with Franco. I know Seth Rogen was like, he was my friend, but now he's a fucking monster and I will not work with him again, which was smart. Way to go, Seth.
I want to know. I want to know what's going on with his brother. Like
Dave?
really, because he's still in movies, isn't he?
Yeah, because Dave didn't, to the best of our knowledge, do anything.
But he's not. I feel like you would say something about that. Like
Yeah,
it
but
breaks my heart that my brother is a fucking pedophile rapist. Like,
but how do you do that? I mean,
yeah,
Seth Rogen, I get, they're friends, but this is his brother, his older brother. Like, probably looked up to him. And to have that guy, I don't think he wants to keep, I think he wants to keep that shit private as much as possible. I don't
yeah,
think
that's fair.
anything about that. But that is not nearly, that's just scratching the surface of what went down here. So there's a lot more.
Yeah.
So after tweeting that, he later stated he was embarrassed, said he learned my lesson. I learned my lesson, which, yeah, bet you did. At the 2018 Golden Globes, he wore a Time's Up pin in solidarity with the Me Too movement to protest sexual harassment against women. What a fucking asshole. His pin drew criticism. Actress Ali Sheedy hinted that she had quit acting after working with Franco on a play. So, like,
Oof.
women who'd been fucked over by him were coming out and being like, you hypocritical son of a bitch. He had to have seen that coming, right? I mean, you can't harass women for a long time, especially famous women, and then be like, I'm on your side and not expect backlash.
That's like the same thing as like a neo-Nazi wearing like a and like an anti-Nazi pin. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like a Klansman being like, showing up at a black church being like, I get it. I'm with you. Like, no, get out. Like, you know what you did. Yeah, it's gross. Former girlfriend, Violet Paley, alleged that he once forced her to give him oral sex in a car while they were dating. In January 2018, the New York Times, citing the allegations, canceled a planned event with Franco. And then in January 10th, the day after that, Franco went on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, said that the accusations made against him were not accurate. So he's trying to do damage control. He's losing projects. He's losing opportunities. Women are coming out and being like, fuck you. January 11th, all this was over the span of 3 days.
And what year?
2018. This is right after the Disaster Artist came out in December of 2017. This all happened around the same time this movie came out. In January 11th, 2018, the Los Angeles Times reported that 5 women were accusing Franco of inappropriate or sexually exploitative behavior when Franco was serving as their acting teacher or mentor. So he was hosting acting classes for gorgeous young women where he would say, like, I will make you a star if you blow me.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. One former student stated Franco, quote, would always make everybody think there were possible roles on the table if we were to perform sexual acts or take off our shirts in his projects. He was casting couch these women. He was lying to them, saying like, fuck me and I'll give you a role in a movie that doesn't exist.
That's awful.
Oh my God. Another alleged that Franco held a sex scenes class and removed students' vaginal guards while simulating oral sex with them. So when you're doing a sex scene in a movie, so parts don't touch, both parties wear protective gear around the crotch so that no babies are made by accident. And Franco was like, you don't need that. Get over here.
Oh my God. Dude, that makes the scene in The Disaster Artist all the more uncomfortable.
Oh boy, I don't even want to think about that. Shit. At this point, Franco's attorney got involved. He disputed the allegations. This is looking more and more like sexual assault. In her 2018 memoir, actress Busy Phillips puts forth an account in which Franco screamed at her violently before shoving her to the ground while on the set of Freaks and Geeks. So a lot about who he is as a person is starting to come out a bit at a time. It's not looking good.
Not Harry Osborn.
Nope. Or yeah, turns out Storm and Norman, the Green Goblin, is the good one. October 3rd, 2019. Two former students of Franco's now closed film and acting school, Studio 4, filed a lawsuit against him and his partners. According to the New York Times, the complaint alleged that the program, quote, was little more than a scheme to provide him and his male collaborators with a pool of young female performers that they could take advantage of. So this was a fake acting school that he was using to recruit hot young things for him and his buddies.
That's awful, dude.
That is.
Oh my God.
The case claimed that pupils were subjected to sexually exploitative auditions and film shoots and had to sign away their rights to the recordings. They were filming these girls, doing whatever they told, and making them sign away their likeness to them. What the fuck was happening here?
Oh my God, dude! In the scene in The Disaster Artist, when he's like making them like do sex, like riding the horse or licking the ice cream, dude, that's awful.
Yep. Yeah. All right. So the litigants sought unspecified monetary damages as well as the return or destruction of any questionable material. Franco has denied the plaintiff's claims through his attorney. February 21st, 2021. It was reported that the lawsuit was settled, and according to documents filed on February 11th, both students had agreed to drop their individual claims. So he paid them off. The deal was submitted for preliminary court approval by March 15th. In June, terms of the settlement were revealed. It was disclosed that Franco, pending a judge's approval, would pay more than $2.2 million to resolve two different legal disputes. One by the two women who cited sexual exploitation. They got about a little under $900,000. Another class action plaint by approximately 1,500 Studio 4 students who maintained they were defrauded. So first he has to pay off the women who are saying that he took sexual advantage of them. And then all the people who signed up for this acting school thinking it was real are now realizing they got fucked over because it wasn't a real acting school. And now they want their money back.
Oh my God, dude. So he's like a fucking monster. Holy shit.
Oh my God. A joint statement by the plaintiffs and defendants reads in part, quote, while defendants continue to deny the allegations in the complaint, he's denying all of it, but he's paying everybody off. They acknowledge that plaintiffs have raised important issues, and all parties strongly believe that now is a critical time to focus on addressing the mistreatment of women in Hollywood. In other words, oh, I get it. You were taken advantage of, and this is horrible, and we got to work to stop this, but it wasn't me.
God, dude. What the fuck is wrong with people today?
Oh, boy. Oh, I got more.
There's more?
There's more. Charlene Yee worked with Franco on The Disaster Artist and claimed in April 2021 that after trying to quit the film over the allegations, a bigger role was offered by the filmmakers to Yee. Yee viewed this enticement as an attempted bribe and also accused Franco's longtime co-star Seth Rogen of enabling his behavior. A month later, Rogen commented on the allegations against Franco and expressed doubts that he would ever work with him again. And I admire Rogen for doing that, for standing against his longtime friend and collaborator and saying this is wrong. but they were tight. And
Yeah.
I wonder how involved Seth Rogen was in all of this. I'm not saying he was. I'm just wondering if I was going to start a sexually exploitative acting school to get laid, I would definitely rope in my best friends.
Yeah.
If I was a monster and they were too.
Yeah. I mean, Seth Rogen, from what I know, he's a pretty decent guy.
Well, I like Seth Rogen too. I like James Franco. I like Kevin Spacey. The
Yeah,
the
that's fair.
version we see is not who these guys are. It's the version they show the camera. We don't know who these people are in their heart, who they are at home.
That is true.
Yeah. I'm not, and again, I'm not saying anything about Seth Rogen here. There's nothing to back up any, that he was involved in any of this. I just, I don't trust
They're
people.
friends.
I don't trust people.
Yeah. Yeah. And especially if they were friends for that long.
Right? Yeah. I mean, you have to. And then again, that does happen. Like, you're friends with somebody for a long time and then you find out they're a complete monster and you knew nothing about them. That does happen. But, I don't know. I feel bad, for Seth. If that's what happened, if my best friend turned out to be a rapist, yeah, I'd cut ties with them and be like, what the fuck? I wish I knew. So yeah. On December 23rd, 2021, Franco admitted to having had sex with students. He finally owned up to it.
Oh my God.
And to being in treatment for sex addiction since 2016. Because that's what happens in Hollywood. When you get accused of sexual impropriety or cheating on your wife or something, you either go to rehab or you go to your, sex addiction. I have never met or heard of a regular non-famous person being a sex addict. It only happens when you're famous.
It only happens when you're famous and you're caught doing like sex crimes.
Yeah. Because that's apparently how I don't buy that. He, however, did not address any of the other allegations. So he basically just said, like, it was consensual. B, I'm getting treated for it.
Jesus Christ. And he was also fucking Johnny Depp's wife. So
I remember, yeah, he was. I remember that too. That must be part of the sex addiction. Yeah. So that's Franco. That's why we haven't seen him in a while.
That's fucking crazy, dude.
Yeah, that's why the Deuce didn't. I think that got canceled.
What did? Oh, the Deuce.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. It was good. Well lasted. James Franco. I know we try to talk about like separating the art from the artist, and I think that's very important. But I think in an industry like film, where you can get, you have to be pretty intimate with your coworkers, it is pretty hard to separate art from artists in film, because their emotions and their personalities do bleed into the art that they create.
That's true.
I mean, now knowing all of that, what he did, I don't think I can honestly watch The Disaster Artist again, because there is a scene where he is screaming at everyone and making a woman very uncomfortable, and it's pretty hard to watch. And I feel bad for obviously all those women. I feel bad for anyone who's like worked with him, and I honestly fucking feel bad for Dave Franco, because he does actually seem like a good guy.
Yeah. So that would you only hold that true? Not being able to separate. Would you just hold that true for actors, or would you consider that for directors and producers as well?
I think we still. Okay. The way that I see it is Harvey Weinstein, right? He's made so many films,
Yeah.
but he's not the only one doing it. So I think it's easier to separate art from artists if the artist is a producer or director, because more people have, more people are, working on the movie. With an actor, I know more people are working on the film also, but it's hard. It's going to be hard to watch,
Well, they're the face of the product.
Exactly.
Get that. Yeah, me, I just, I can see the character. I can see past the
Yeah.
actor and see the character. And I mean, that's not always the case. Some like there's some movies that are harder to watch than others because of that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like American Beauty, for instance, a movie where Kevin Spacey's lusting after his daughter's like teenage best friend.
Yeah.
That's rough to watch now.
Yeah.
It's a great movie, unfortunately. But yeah.
And then also like, I don't know. Like if it ever comes out that Jack Nicholson was abusive, wouldn't that be hard to watch The Shining?
Jesus, I hope not. I'm very glad that no one's come out with a like Jack Nicholson tried to rape me story
Oh
or
yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
I've actually heard no real bad things about Jack Nicholson. He's
Yeah,
a
no,
classic
no.
from what I hear. Thank God.
Yeah.
He's probably my
It's
if I had to
just-
pick a favorite actor of all time, it's probably Jack Nicholson.
yeah. It's also just because I mean directing and producing and all those other jobs, they can be intimate and you can be passionate, but acting, as cheesy as it is, it's said in The Disaster Artist, acting is emotion. So like if someone is an asshole, like James Franco, who is a sexual deviant and an asshole with all of these claims against him, you have to like when he is doing a scene like he was in The Disaster Artist, when he's screaming at this girl while filming a sex scene, he's pulling that emotion from somewhere. And now that he has allegations against him, you have to wonder where he's drawing those emotions and feelings from, and it would be from a place of negativity, and that's hard to watch.
Yeah, I understand that. I think a lot of people forget at the end of the day that this is a job and you got to leave that shit out of the workplace, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be professional at the very least. Like that's all most people want from any kind of workplace, including a movie set. And I'm glad that nowadays we're cracking down on like just people being diva assholes. We're just not taking that anymore.
Yeah. Kind of a follow-up question. I was going to ask this at the beginning, but I completely forgot. But it's a good segue. So, in the movie, and I guess in real life too, Tommy, he brings up a interesting. I keep calling him Tommy. It's James Franco, but I'm going to call him Tommy. He brings up a really interesting point. He's screaming at everyone, and he's like, well, Alfred Hitchcock screamed at his cast members. He threw birds at people while filming The Birds. And Stanley Kubrick, was mean to his cast. He broke Shelley Duvall. How do you feel about that? About method acting and just trying to get your actors into a mindset like Kubrick and Hitchcock did?
I think the most important part of that isn't talked about is the lack of consent.
Mm-hmm.
This was not an agreed upon thing where Kubrick's like, hey, so to get the best reaction out of everybody, I'm going to bully this woman relentlessly and fuck up her mental health irreparably to the point where she still struggles with that. Is everybody okay with that? Shelley, you're not okay with that? Well, fuck you anyway. Action. So no, I think that nothing gives you the right to belittle, scream, berate anybody in any kind of environment. And using method acting and like trying to get the shot as an excuse is petty and small. Just admit you're an asshole. It's not worth the work, whether or not, Shelley Duvall screams a little harder in this take because Kubrick said louder, bitch. Like it's not worth it. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
I disagree with that. When it comes to method acting, if there's people who, get into a character and they got to stay there and they find something in their own head to capture the character the best way they believe they can, that's fine. Whatever works for you. There's actors who are fantastic at that. But when they lash out at other people for fucking up their process because they like walked in front of them in a way that was not proper in the 1800s, fuck you. You're being
Yeah.
a difficult diva little princess, and you should know better.
The way that I view method acting is I think there's two camps. There's fake method acting and real method acting. And I can do this. I don't know. Joaquin Phoenix, he did method acting for the Joker, if I remember. Okay. This is a perfect example then. Jared Leto is said to have done method acting while filming the Joker. He sent stupid gifts and was to his co-workers and was rude and just pretended to be the Joker the entire time he was on set. And the performance that came out of that was awful. It was all for nothing because he acted like a diva. Joaquin Phoenix basically destroyed his body and he had to go to therapy and he was really fucked up after playing the Joker. And I genuinely do not think we could have gotten that performance that we did out of him if he hadn't done that. So I think there is a place for method acting. Joaquin Phoenix is an asshole and pretentious, but I think there's a time and place for it. And if it is pulled off, it is pulled off wonderfully.
Well, to that I say, once again, Jack Nicholson. Jack signed on to play the Joker. When they yelled action, he was the Joker. When they yelled cut, he was Jack, and he was palling around being Jack. And the performance was fucking amazing.
Yeah,
good job. You're playing make believe. When the camera's running, do your shit. When the camera's off, settle the fuck down.
Well, yeah, but it's a very different character.
Yeah, but is it worth it? I personally don't think he's that memorable in Joker. I thought he was good, but
he's not memorable. But I think it was a powerful performance. And also, it's interesting that we're talking about this because you said, is it worth it? If you're going to view film as art, it is to the artist to decide if it's worth it. Just like paying an exuberant amount of money to go to a fancy restaurant. Is it worth it to basically destroy your mental health for a couple months in order to pull off what might be one of the best performances of your career? You know?
Damn, you sunk my battleship, man. That was impressive. I guess for me, what it comes down to is I just don't like people taking advantage of their position to be assholes. I don't like that. And
I think you can method act and not be an asshole.
You can. It is done all the time. But there are those people who make life miserable for everyone else.
Exactly.
Their process, and that I can't stand. But there's actors who are just, who stay in the zone and are just amazing at it.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not crazy. And again, it does, I have a problem with spending $3,000 to go to a restaurant too. I think there's a limit. I just want to enjoy art without thinking why'd you do that?
Yeah. The only way that I justify it in my brain is some people have to go to different places mentally in order to do certain things. Okay, I think you can equate it to actual paintings. I think method acting correctly could be I don't know, like a fucking Picasso painting. Fake method acting is a fucking Jackson Pollock.
This all might stem from my hatred of Jackson Pollock. I find most things I do can be, that I don't like can be traced back to him.
Right. And I don't know. You might not like Jackson Pollock, but there are people who do. And Jackson Pollock might think that his, as easy as his art looks, he might actually be putting a lot of himself into the work. That's why I understand where actors go or come from when they say that they are method actors. But don't be a fucking pretentious prick and send dead rats to your co-stars.
Yeah. Find your own process and work for what, work best, whatever works best for you. Just don't be a diva.
Don't be a diva.
Don't be a diva. And again, I'm not an actor. I don't know. I imagine it's a very difficult job getting into the mindset of another person. to believe that you are another person. That's got to be fucking hard.
I mean, it destroyed Jim Carrey.
Yeah, it did. Man on the Moon, and he got a lot of guff for his crazy method acting on that pissed off a lot of people. He got so into character as Andy Kaufman that he was like picking fights with Andy Kaufman's enemies.
That's crazy.
Yeah, watch that documentary, Jim and Andy: The Great Beyond. That was so fascinating. Yeah. But yeah, it's something that I will never know how to do or how it feels to do. And for a lot of people, draining your own identity to replace it with that of somebody else, that's got to fuck with you mentally, especially if you're playing a deranged psycho like the Joker.
And that is exactly why I think it is difficult to separate the artist from the art as an actor. And that's why I think it's icky to watch James Franco berate a female coworker during a sex scene in The Disaster Artist.
You are getting really good at this.
It's hard because he's not in a different place. He's literally just playing himself alone in his acting school.
Yeah. Ugh. It is weird when rapists play rapists. Then it gets
funny. Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. Damn. That was I think you're more than ready for what we were talking about.
Oh yeah. I'm excited.
The Disaster Artist, despite everything surrounding Franco, was a decent hit. Grossed $29.8 million on a budget of $10 million. It was released right at the height of awards season and was considered an Oscar contender until shit hit the fan about Franco, and then the Academy seemingly tried to distance themselves as much as possible from Franco. They didn't want... he was considered a frontrunner for Best Actor until all this came out, and he did not get nominated because they didn't want to nominate someone who'd been Me Too'd.
I remember when it was coming out, and Tommy Wiseau was like, "Oh yeah, James Franco did wonderfully," and there was like footage of James Franco and Tommy Wiseau hanging out and shit. And I remember watching this, I was like, "Damn, he's like really good."
Yeah, and he is. He may be a piece of shit.
He is good.
He's still really good in this. You can be both. You can be a piece of shit and a good actor. It happens a lot.
He's good at being a piece of shit because he's a piece of shit.
Yeah, play what you know. Play your strengths.
Mm-hmm.
Still, the film managed to score a single nomination for Best Adapted Screenplay at the 90th Academy Awards, which it lost to Call Me By Your Name.
It's
a good movie. Another movie dealing, that's kind of hard to watch.
Yeah.
Another sexual predator in that movie.
God, dude.
Fucking Armie Hammer.
A cannibal sexual predator.
Mm-hmm. Logan should have won that. Hugh Jackman and Patrick Stewart are fine. Oh, crazy.
Logan.
Yeah. That was a good movie. The Disaster Artist has an IMDb score of 7.3, Rotten Tomatoes score of 91%, audience score of 85%. Critics' consensus reads, "Oh, hi, Mark. The Disaster Artist is a surprisingly poignant and charming movie about a movie that explores the creative process with unexpected delicacy." And I agree. Unexpected is very true.
Yeah.
With that, let's talk more about this movie specifically through 4 categories. We have scene, we have performance, we have music, and we have dialogue. Where would you like to start?
Let's do music first. We don't do music first.
Okay.
At all. I like the music. There's a piece of music that plays while Tommy is writing the script for The Room. And it's like, it's inspirational, kind of sad. I don't know why, I just really like that. Because you're happy for him, but like, if you're watching The Disaster Artist, you likely know The Room. And although it's like famous now, you know that it didn't become the movie that he wanted. So it's fun to watch, but it's so sad. It's sad.
Yeah, he thought he was making a poignant drama that people were going to connect to, but everyone thought it was a comedy, and he just kind of rolled with that to avoid embarrassment.
Yeah.
I love that. It's very much like, whenever I can speak from personal experience on this. When you start writing a new project and it's just going and you are in the zone and you can't stop, there is like a weird little soundtrack in your head that's playing like,
Yeah.
inspirational, like I'm doing it. Oh my God, it's working. I got this. And it's a great feeling. It's like that captured that feeling very well. I have a couple of needle drops. First up, Never Gonna Give You Up by Rick Astley. The use of that song in this movie is
That was gonna be my next one. Yeah.
really creepy. Yeah. Greg and Tommy are driving and the song starts playing and Tommy's like, "Hey, we should be friends forever and like work together and everything." And like they just met.
Yeah.
Greg takes a lot on faith. Like he just rolls with a lot of Tommy's weirdness. I don't really know why.
Yeah. I think it's they were definitely using each other
Yeah.
for a little bit, at least a little bit. I think they're friends, but there was hints of, like parasitic.
Yeah, there was almost like the movie kind of implies like a weird, like almost like Tommy was in love with Greg.
Oh, Tommy Wiseau is definitely gay.
I feel like he transcends that kind of label.
Tommy Wiseau is definitely gay. Come on. Especially if my like analysis is correct and it just is about LA taking Greg away.
Yeah, could be. Could be. It's weird because they're brothers. To play that angle.
Yeah.
But yeah, the song in that scene is like, this is a weird, and then they start singing it together, like off key, and it's just a weird moment. Like, Greg should be more creeped out than he is.
Yeah, he definitely should.
Any other ones you got?
Honestly, not that I can think of. I wasn't really listening to the music. I was just astounded that this movie was made. A lot of uplifting tracks though. Hopeful.
I love the use of Epic by Faith No More as like shooting begins, like they're walking into this onto the set, like we're about to make a fucking masterpiece.
That was good. Yep.
What a great song for that. Oh, yeah. Good stuff. Yeah. The music works when it works, but it's not exactly the star of the movie.
Yeah. No.
Let's do performance. Let's get that out of the way. If you had to pick one person, who wins the movie?
Unfortunately,
no.
I am gonna have to say James Franco. Was this his last film? Because it's a good film to end on.
I don't think it was his last film. It was his last like mainstream thing. Let me look that up. What he's done in the past 6 years?
6 years, yeah. Just because, I mean, Tommy said it himself. Perfect casting. Honestly, him or Johnny Depp, perfect casting. I don't know how the fuck Tommy Wiseau saw, because like when you think James Franco, you don't think Tommy Wiseau. So the fact that Tommy saw that and was like, "Oh, he would be perfect to play me." Imagine like knowing yourself. I don't know who would play me. Imagine knowing yourself so well. You're like, I know who could play me, and you get it like spot on, perfect.
I can see a young John Krasinski playing you.
Young John Krasinski.
Like season 1 of The Office, John Krasinski.
Yeah,
I've never thought about who would play me ever. I don't really have.
Who's the teacher in Stand and Deliver? That's
Edward James Olmos.
Yes, he played. I'm just.
I'm not quite that brown, but I appreciate the sentiment. Franco has done a few things since 2017. Nothing really that mainstream. He did appear in the Coen Brothers movie, The Ballad of Buster Scruggs, in 2018.
Oh, he did. That's right.
But other than that, and The Deuce, nothing to really write home about.
The scene that he's in, dude, when he's getting hung, he's like, first time. I can see the memes now,
Oh, they were everywhere. I remember that got memed to death.
God.
Ridiculous. Yeah, Franco gets it for me. And that's not disparaging anybody else. It's just it's mostly his movie. He's in every scene for the most part, and he is playing just a weird, hard to pin down human being. He might be a fucking alien for all we know. Like I don't know. Whatever story, whatever you tell me, like whenever it's revealed like who he is and where it all comes from, I'm not going to be surprised.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think next, I would want to say Dave Franco, but I feel like Dave Franco, honestly, no disrespect to him, I love watching him in movies, but Dave Franco just always plays Dave Franco. So I would like to say him second, but honestly, I think Seth Rogen is second for me because he's just a guy who's just fucking dealing with the bullshit. And the fact that he shows up to the premiere shows that he does care about the work that he put in, and he just wants to see what it is. I like that. I thought he was cute in the movie. That was good.
Yeah, it's a good call. I love him just being able to weather the Tommy, Hurricane Tommy, and just coming out on top.
What did he say? He's like, well, usually as a script, what did he say? A script manager usually should see a copy of the script. And Tommy's like, everyone wants to see script. You'll get script when you get script.
Yeah, don't be greedy.
Hey, don't be greedy.
Let's do dialogue. Despite all the weird bullshit Tommy says, he drops the odd pearl from time to time, and it blows me away every time. It's like, wow, that was profound.
Yeah,
it's always by accident.
Yeah,
like when they go and see Rebel Without a Cause, and we get to see the original "You're Tearing Me Apart" that he just straight up steals for his movie. And they start talking about James Dean and how James Dean was killed in a car accident, and like the spot is like near there. And Tommy convinces Greg to go see it, and Tommy says, "The Dean won't come to you. You have to go to the Dean." It's like shit, It's a great message about your dreams. Like you can't just sit around and wait for them to happen. You have to make them happen.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. It's a very short. It's not even a quote. He just says it offhand. It's when they're in the diner, and he's like, "Oh, we're gonna do a scene together right now," and he hands him a script, and all he says is, because Greg is like, "I don't want to do this here. There's people here." And he says, "I don't care. There's people here. It's only me and them. I don't give a fuck about them." I don't know why, but I really like that because Tommy Wiseau, he is truly a fearless man to do what he does. As weird as he is, the man's got some fucking balls, and he's not going to let anyone get in the way of his dreams, and that's very admirable.
Yeah, makes you wonder what he's been through to not be afraid of public spectacle. When he approaches Judd Apatow in the restaurant and just starts going, "To be or not to be,"
To be.
like loudly in front of everybody. And oh my God.
Ugh.
Yeah, amazing. One of my favorites is when when they're just starting production and he's talking to, I think it's Josh Hutcherson, and he says, "Don't be Brando today. You might hurt yourself." Like that's also great advice. Like you're not going to be the greatest actor of all time on your first day. Like you got to build up to that. You got to work there. Like that's great advice. Whatever you're doing in life, you are not going to be the best at it on your first day. You got to work towards it. You got to become the best gradually.
Yeah. I like when he says, Tommy and Greg are talking, and he says, "Oh, we're going to move to Los Angeles." I think it's when they're playing football, and Greg says, "Oh, you just have to get lucky, I guess." And Tommy says, "No, it's not luck, Greg. Greg, you have to be the best. You have to be the best you can be and never give up." It just, who is this man? And why is he so profound? Like it's all cheesy shit, but like, I don't know, just the way he says it, in that stupid fucking accent. It's poignant.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he was like, like the Greek god of hope or something that like crashed down on Earth like 1,000 years ago and just like had to be a human, and here he is.
Yeah.
one of my all-time favorites comes from the actual Tommy Wiseau in his cameo at the end of the movie. Uh, where he says, he starts talking to, like, he plays a guy named like Frank or something who shows up to the rap party and starts talking
Oh
to
yeah.
Franco's Tommy Wiseau and starts asking him all these weird questions. And fake Tommy is very evasive and he's like, go away, like, leave me alone. And real Tommy goes, what, you have long hair? You think you own the world? It's Tommy Wiseau having an argument with himself about boundaries. It's so weird.
I like there's so many. I like when he meets Greg's mom for the first time and she's like, "How old are you?" And he says, "Oh, I'm Greg's age." And she's like, "Really? You're 19? I just turned 14 today." And he goes, "Oh, happy birthday."
He's the epitome of like that famous quote from Seinfeld, it's not a lie if you believe it.
Yep.
The confidence at which he says all of this nonsense. Like like you said, he's not stupid. He knows they don't believe it. He just doesn't care.
Yeah. He I don't think he's an idiot. I really don't. Um I think he's just really I don't know. He's very confident. I don't but he's not like I guess he is self-destructive. I don't know the word I'm looking for. He's very he's just out there. He's fearless, you know.
Yeah, he's a conundrum.
Yeah, really.
Uh, let's go to scene. There's some great scenes in this movie. I I think nothing beats Tommy's inability to do the line. 68 takes of, my favorite part is when they're all repeating it at him. Like he's like lying, and they're like, "I did not hit her.
I did not hit her.
True.
It's
It's
not
bullshit.
true. It's
I did not
bullshit.
hit
I did
her.
not hit her.
I did not. Oh, hi,
Oh,
Mark."
hi, Mark.
Just they've all memorized it because you just can't do it. But then it's like Greg just like, use this bottle, and he nails it immediately.
It's great. I like the very beginning scene with all the actors talking about the movie.
Yeah, that was a cool way to open this.
Very simple.
I do love the scene where Tommy and Greg do the acting in the restaurant, and like Greg's very nervous at first, but then he gets really into it. And Tommy's like, oh, free show. You did not have to pay for this performance. It's just like everyone starts weirdly applauding. I bet in like acting cities like New York and LA that happens a lot.
I lived in New York, and it does happen a lot, especially on the subway.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. You ever see that video of like some pop star? I think it was Brandy. Like went on the subway and started singing like an impromptu
Yes.
concert, and like after a song or two, nobody applauded, and she just kind of stopped.
Yep. Yep.
I found that so goddamn funny. Oh.
Yeah. It's funny because they're not even good actors. I know that's rude, but they're not like great at it. But Tommy's teaching him to not be afraid, have more confidence, and that's good.
I love the opening like of Greg and Tommy in their like acting class.
Yeah.
And Greg's doing a scene with Randall Park, and they're both terrible. And Randall Park is like, they're doing Waiting for Godot, and he's like, "Oh Godot, what do we wait?" Like he just completely fucks it up. And then Tommy goes up there and does fucking, Stella, like straight is so bad. But Greg's like, "Who is that?"
I don't think but he didn't think he was good at acting. He just liked how he was like not afraid.
Yeah, that's true. If you're going to attach yourself to somebody in that kind of industry, you want to attach yourself to somebody with no fear.
Yeah. Exactly.
That guy's going to open doors. They might not be the right doors, but he's going to open something.
There's a lot of good scenes. I don't know how to like pick, but I like when Tommy is auditioning for a movie, and they're like, "Okay, stop doing the accent." So he's like, "Okay," and he's like, "The only rules in this class is to be quiet." So fucking stupid.
I love his constant, what accent?
Yeah.
God. I do love the scene where after Tommy gives Greg the ultimatum on the over the Malcolm in the Middle episode and makes him shave off the beard, and then like Greg finally lets him have it. Finally confronts him on all his bullshit.
Yeah.
With the football, and it just felt like cathartic. Like somebody's got to tell this guy he's full of shit.
Do you know the real story about the beard?
I do not. Was that not the case?
No. So there was no Malcolm in the Middle episode. I think Greg has since said that he felt bad about his reasoning, but the reason he didn't want to shave the beard is because he knew that the movie was going to come out soon, and he wanted to distance himself as much as he could from the movie. And wanted to disguise himself. Yeah,
that's sad, but really makes Tommy look like more of an asshole in the movie because he clearly did it to stop Greg from leaving the production.
Yes,
like to basically sabotage his career.
Exactly, and that's why I think that I will die on this hill. The Room is an allegory for him and Greg's relationship. The girl is not a girl; it's LA. It's the dream.
You might be onto something. I'm just thinking, if Tommy was able to make that kind of an allegory, why wasn't the movie better?
Because he's not a filmmaker.
I'm talking about the dialogue, like the writing. Like if he was able to create a metaphor like that, that's really smart. What the hell is? Yep, I got breast cancer. Like what? The two things don't match.
Because English obviously is not his first language.
Well, then write it in Polish.
No, he's American.
Fair enough.
Another scene I really like is basically when Tommy steps out of the theater. He's upset that everyone's like laughing at him, and then Greg is like, "No, dude, look at all this. Look at how much fun they're having." Like Hitchcock. That's one of the lines I was gonna say. He says Hitchcock has never had a reaction like this, has he? Oh. That was so cute. That was so good.
That's good. I mean,
and I like that Tommy. I think at least in real life, he like understood what his movie is, and I like that.
Yeah, as long as people are having a good time, what does it matter?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good advice. And also, Hitchcock's reaction for Psycho was pretty big, so I don't. Anyway, yeah, those it's fucked up knowing what he did, but the scene where he like tries to convince him, like, I have to show my ass to sell this movie, was funny as at first. But yeah, the more we talked about it, that's pretty fucked up now.
I just like, hi, we're here to. He's like, okay, rental packages start at this much. He's like, I'll stop you right there. We're buying.
I love that the guys are like, can we talk about this? And they're like, yeah, we'll totally sell you. Like, yep. To rent a camera in LA, probably a few $1,000. To buy a camera in LA, probably a couple $100,000.
Yeah.
That's why everyone rents. Nobody owns their own cameras.
Yeah, no.
That's fucking crazy.
What else? I just like every scene making the movie. When she's spraying his hair with water and he's like, more spray. Or, the alley scene when he's like, hey man, there's an alley right here. We can just film here. He's like, no.
I love the guy who plays the mugger, like psyching himself up. It's like, God, fucking
like Zac Efron.
Yeah, getting into it. That was Zac. I totally didn't catch that was Zac Efron until like
I didn't either the first time.
Until the premiere. It's like, oh shit. Well done. He's a fucking chameleon and an underrated performer, and I think he's going to get some Oscar attention for the Iron Claw. I'm really looking forward to that.
Oh fuck, he is in that. I want to see that.
Dude beefed the fuck up. My God.
Yeah. He's huge.
Yeah. But yeah, I just love him getting psyched up, and then the way that unfolds.
Give me the fucking money. I wonder, is it like that in the original Room? Is it like weirdly like over dramatic and violent?
It looks like a gay porn because like the guy the young kid is, an adult playing a child, so it looks all, weirdly like, dom and sub going on here. It's a weird looking, yeah.
Oh my god, dude, that's
He's got a basketball for some reason. Like, it's so weird. Oh man. Uh I love the biopic Aftermath, where it tells you like where everyone ended up.
yep,
Just the what this movie became. It became a
yeah,
cult favorite across the world. People line up to watch it. Tommy Wiseau became not a household name, but recognizable.
yeah.
It's inspiring. No matter the worst thing I've ever written, I can look at this and be like, somebody will want to read this.
Yeah, yeah. It's inspirational. It's one of the more inspirational movies I've seen.
Yeah.
Um, I also like the end. I like when it shows the side by side comparison on how accurate they got the shots.
Yeah. They filmed a good 20 minutes of the room, like for this.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah.
And the last thing I just want to talk about is the all famous, I have the test results back. I definitely have breast cancer.
I love the actress in the movie, like attempts to like try to get Tommy to explain that to her and just be like, does this ever come back? Like, why? And she's like caked in makeup.
Yeah. Yep.
She passes out. But yeah.
No, it's because she's old lady.
Uh it's it is such an indecipherable accent. It's almost like he's just mumbling his way through. I wouldn't be surprised if it was fake. Like,
he's faking an accent that he is denying that he has.
yeah, like I would love if like there was some behind the scenes footage of like Tommy taking a phone call off camera and he's just like, fuck, I don't know how much longer I can do this. I sound insane. You know that?
Yeah, I don't know how much longer I can do this. Amber, honey, you have to listen to me. Don't poop in my bed again. I'll be home soon.
Jesus. I wonder if this was like a producer's style scheme. You ever see The Producers?
No.
1967, Mel Brooks, hilarious movie. These two playwrights, well, a playwright and his like lawyer, come up with an idea. They realize that if you can create a flop on purpose, you can bet against it and make a shit ton of money. So they decide to make a play that's going to fail. And they find this Nazi who wrote a musical about Hitler and decide to greenlight that as their play. And when it flops, they're going to make a bunch of money off of it. But then it becomes a hit and they lose everything.
Oh my God.
It's hilarious. But I wonder if, was that the scheme here? Make a terrible movie, bet against it, and walk away with a bunch of money? Probably not. But if Tommy Wiseau is the real deal, this was all real. If the accent's fake, that's what he was trying to do.
Oh my God. Well, watch, it's a fucking Joaquin Phoenix rapper thing. This is someone else's. He's like, oh, I was making a movie about how hard it is to make film.
I bet it's Joaquin Phoenix.
Oh my God, imagine.
I'm thinking about I'm Still Here, and I'm like, you take the beard away, you keep the sunglasses, you make the hair a little longer. Fuck. That was his first. That was JP.1.
My God.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, I want to find Tommy Wiseau and just like follow him around a little bit to see what he does.
Who are you?
I want to hear the accent slip. That's all I want to hear.
He's got to pull a Back to the Future, sneak into his bedroom, put headphones on him. Or a mask. He'd believe it. Tommy, he'd believe it.
I should know what I want to do. I want to go up to him and like act like I'm him from the future. Like have a black wig, sunglasses, and talk just like this. And like, I'm real American. I just have some questions, Tom. If you pass Tommy, I need to know some things.
Your memory is fading. You have to answer me questions. Who are you? Where are you from?
God. This is I still can't believe this is a real human being who made a real movie, and they made a movie about his real movie, and he's got a shark movie coming out. That's all facts.
Yeah. No, hold on. Let me look up his discography because yeah, he's making a movie called Big Shark. No, he made a movie called Samurai Cop.
Of course he did.
Oh no, he didn't. Okay, that's not him.
Oh,
He was in it. Oh, good. Yes, he was in a movie called Samurai Cop. He's in, a movie called Best Friends, which is about two best friends and one of them steals money from the other.
I bet that happened. Did he happen to steal by chance $6 million and finance a movie?
Oh my god.
Well, that's the Disaster Artist, and I was very interested to see what Letterboxd had to say on this one. So let's take a look at our final segment. What's in the box?
What's in the fucking box? Give me the gun.
The Disaster Artist is rocking a 3.6 out of 5 on Letterboxd. That's respectable. It's very nice. I have three negative reviews and one positive. This one's from Esteban Alfaro, a well-established Hollywood actor mocking a dreamer. Lots of pointless cameos, awardable nothingness. Half a star.
So I would say, yeah, it is mocking a dreamer, but it's made by one of the people that were making the movie. So
yeah, I don't think it's mocking. I mean, it's a very positive movie. It ends on a,
it is, yeah.
It doesn't say like The Room went on to become one of the worst movies of all time. Like it says, The Room made a lot of money and now he's a star. I think it's pretty uplifting. I don't think it mocks Tommy. I think it's just this weird guy. It's hard not to make a movie about him without making him seem like a little off-putting.
Yeah.
This next one's from Molly Glockner. This was the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life. Why did we need a movie about this? I didn't learn anything about the process that I couldn't have already assumed. And most of it was just watching frame-by-frame reenactments of The Room. Like, yeah, I could just go watch the real one if I wanted. So dumb, I hate this. Half a star.
Because it's not about the making of the movie. It's a movie about Tommy Wiseau.
Yeah. It's about the man who made The Room, not the making of The Room.
Yeah.
But you can't tell that story without a bit of the making of The Room.
Yep.
Yeah. And also, why don't you just turn it off?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
This one is from Bobby Bubblebath. Great name.
Oh, God.
I'd rather chug hot dog water. Half a star.
Oh, man.
But you'd rather do that than what? Watch the movie? Like, did you watch the movie?
Chug hot dog water. That's awful, man. That's disgusting.
I saw this guy who made he got real tired of like people at work stealing his lunch. He didn't know who it was, so he put hot dog water in the ice cube trays and
oh my God.
put them in the freezer.
That's rough.
Yep. I don't know what happened after that, but I can only
the fact that it'll take you a minute to realize too.
Yeah, why does my cocktail taste weird? And why am I having a cocktail at work? And this last one, I like this. This is from Brian Tallarico. It takes real friendship to make awful movies. 3.5 stars.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah. If they didn't truly believe in one another, this never would have happened.
Yeah.
Like, Greg would have 100%, like as soon as he read that script, he would have fucked off immediately.
Yeah, no, but he read the whole thing and was like, yeah, it's good. Yep.
You ever have a friend who you're just like, you're tight with, but you're also really, you don't want to give them bad news because they're proud of what, that's that kind of relationship. It's like, I can't tell him this is bad, it'll crush him.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to take this lie as far as it can go.
Yeah.
I try not to be that. I try to tell all my friends when they fuck up. Otherwise, I'm going to end up in a deep ass hole, and I don't want to do that.
I tried telling this guy, I was like, hey man, maybe like don't do that. And he was like, well, you're fucking stupid. You know what you're talking. I was like, all right, whatever. You're right.
Yeah, and if they get confrontational, just be like, all right, who am I? And just watch them walk into the ocean.
Yep.
Ugh. Well, that about does it. This was a blast. Thanks for listening, everybody. If you like the show, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Filmgazm Productions. If you want to suggest films for us to check out, you can email us at filmgazm@gmail.com or send us a message through the socials. Check out our Letterboxd accounts for daily reviews. If you search for me at Connor95 and in my friends list, you can find the rest of the team. Check out the website, filmgazm.com, where I have a link to that letterbox. You can also find articles, trailers of upcoming films, and every episode of our show. If you'd like to become a monthly donor to Filmgazm Productions, click on the link in the episode description. From there, click on Support This Podcast. You can choose to donate $1 a month, $5 a month, or $10 a month, and all donations go right back into the show. Thanks to the entire Filmgazm team for their contributions. Thanks to Cooley Cow for our awesome theme music. Thanks to you for checking it out. Never give up on your dreams. Having no talent doesn't necessarily mean you can't do something, as we have seen. Take it easy, keep watching movies, and we'll see you next time.